Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is the Razer Cobra Hyperspeed, the newest release from Razer. They did not send it out to me. It kind of went under the radar, and it is the closest thing 5 years post VIPER Mini release to the original plastic wired VIPER Mini that we have in wireless form. But it's definitely more of a casual release aimed at people who like the dock, RGB, features like that. It is not trying to just be the lightest version of the VIPER Mini shape. And yeah, weighing it at 60 grams, it is a big improvement from the Cobra Pro, which was like 75 grams, just a complete joke of a release. So the Hyperspeed, it is kind of viable. In my opinion, if you do want like a heavier, small claw mouse, I would recommend like a wireless OP1 from Endgame Gear. And yeah, truth be told, I think in 2025, most people in a mouse market where you can get the Hitscan Hyperlight ATK F1 Extreme for under $100. I mean, a Skyrox V8 if you want a different shape, $70 with 8K included. This at 100, no high polling by default, 60 grams. It's just a release I think many people will miss out on. And yeah, I just think people are past the point of like being teased by Razer with a wireless VIPER Mini that's going to really capture the spirit of the original release. Like it's a very similar shape. It is noticeably wider at the grip width. Like my finger placement, it's just easier for me to fingertip the VIPER Mini, and the VIPER Mini also does have this like higher and thinner hump. So in my opinion, it's like the better, slightly smaller shape. I was just never able to really get behind the Cobra. And that's still kind of the case as far as like personal use is concerned. Yes, this has like Bluetooth, and yeah, this mouse also has an AI prompt button if you hold the DPI button for long enough. So it's really just one of those releases where Razer packs features in. It also has the Gen 4 optical switches and the optical scroll wheel encoder that are in the Death Adder V4 Pro, though both implementations do feel different. Like the scroll wheel has much more rigid kind of tactile feedback compared to the Death Adder V4s. I know I did report some squeaking in my last video, but it seemingly just went away. And the clicks also, it's kind of funny comparing them to the VIPER Mini, because Razer, throughout all these generations of opticals, they really haven't changed much. Like, the new implementation is lighter, and they've replaced the dull sound with a kind of pingy sound, but just in terms of fullness of the click, tactility, it's like, it's not a night-and-day difference considering the 5 years they've had to improve on the clicks, and that's not really a knock. More of just an observation. Quality-wise, this unit was very impressive. I mean, I only have had it for a few days, but yeah, not much to note in terms of click quality. Sidewalls seem to be very strong. I didn't see any spiel about the like recycled plastic, so this might be using harmful plastic. But yeah, all things considered, the buttons on this mouse are fine. The side buttons are one of the loudest implementations. They do have that like kind of cheap like budget mouse dot switch feeling. Not too much to note in terms of pre-post travel wobbling out of the box. This wouldn't be my #1 recommendation for Fortnite. I think the original VIPER Mini, the buttons were a bit lighter and like just faster. Yeah, just listening to these have like a strange sound. I wouldn't say it's like unusable, but this mouse to me, it's just like, I don't even care. Like a disappointing release. There's so many like good releases. It's like, okay, this can exist. This can be for the mystery consumer. They can buy it, and God bless. What else is there to note? The sensor is really the only feature that is a big downgrade from like the Death Adder V4 Pro, along with the coating. Of course, this is not a rubberized coating, and it's not the same like textured plastic that the VIPER Mini had. It's just kind of like a smooth coating. It's not like my fingers are slipping around or anything. It's fine. It's just like this mouse, it has a very weird feeling. Like it just feels clunky and like dense, which is very weird, but the wired VIPER Mini genuinely feels lighter, and I think it's because there's like so much weight at the back of the mouse, and then there's the standard amount of like buttons and stuff at the front of the mouse, so it's just like an odd distribution. I really do think that if this mouse were to go on sale similar to the Death Adder Hyperspeed for like $75, if you were to remove the RGB, remove the magnets, and get this to a lighter weight, it could be like a really good mouse if you do want that VIPER Mini alternative style feeling, but that's a lot of work, and it's just not something that I recommend with the options available. And yeah, it's really the best case I can come up with for this mouse, presuming you're somebody who values like a small and light mouse, which was really why the VIPER Mini was originally popular. It was like budget, light, small, and now this is kind of like on the heavier end for a mouse of this size. Yeah, I know this was made more for people who use the VIPER Ultimate in the past, currently use the Cobra. I mean, to them, this might be too light. That's a fascinating scenario to imagine. So yeah, Razer, clearly, if they're capable of making the VIPER V3 Pro in the low 50-gram range, they could obviously have made a solid shell VIPER Mini, probably somewhere in the 40s. I mean, they have the VIPER Mini SIG. Do they still do drops on that? I haven't heard about that in a while, not to get too off topic here. But yeah, they do have that if you want to fucking pay up. But yeah, for most other people, if you're looking for lightweight VIPER Mini style, I think it just makes sense to explore options from other companies, because in many cases with Razer, you can say they have the best of the best tech, but with the Hyperspeed lineup, they are using an older sensor. It still is compatible with the Hyper polling dongle, and it doesn't feel like mediocre. It's just not like significantly or any better than the competition, really. And just for reference, this sensor has worse specs than the VIPER V2 Pro's 3950, which came out in 2022, and that's what most like budget 3950 mice are using nowadays. So from something like Skyrox, Pulsar, Lamzu, just any of these budget companies, HitScan, you are going to be getting a just solid implementation. So it's a bit more of like a bare bones sensor experience, but for most people, especially if you are on a budget or a low refresh rate setup, it really won't make any difference at all. It is just worth pointing out that this isn't not running like best of the best tech or claiming to be or trying to be the lightest mouse. So really, it's like, I can't rate it highly. So in conclusion, to me, this is a mouse that feels like 2 or 3 years too late. Oh, I should mention the stock skates. On some pads, they are pretty controlled. That's why I brought out the orange Artisan Raid and tried to speed it up, make this mouse have a bit lower initial friction, and I still couldn't quite fix it. Like, this mouse, it's just not for me. So yeah, that's going to be all for this video. I'm not going to really make myself use this mouse any longer. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. That's going to be all. Like and subscribe. Peace out.